Hilchis Mamrim Perek Shishi. Now in Perek Hey, the Rambam discussed the din of Makav V'imei and Makal of V'imei, that there's a Chiyuv Misa. And here the Rambam Perek Vav discusses the dinim of Kibud Aveim. It's interesting that the Rambam normally starts off with the Essa and then the Leisasa. Also by Shabbos, there's a Mitzvah Saseh of Shvisa, and then there's a Leisasa of Leisasa Kol Malacha. Al Derez Eben Yontiv, Megeh Kama Dinim, where there's an Essa and a Leisasa, the Rambam first says the Essa and then he says the Leisasa. We hear the Rambam in Perek Hey discusses the dinim of Makav V'imei and Makal V'imei, and Ash in Perek Vav, the Rambam discusses the Mitzvah Saseh of Kibud Aveim. There's a point also that B'negei Makav V'imei, Makal V'imei, the din is that if there is Shoyim, so then the Chiyuv Misa doesn't apply. The Chiyuv Misa for Makav V'imei, Makal V'imei doesn't apply if Av V'imei is Shoyim, like we learned in Perek Hey. Masha'inkim B'negei Kibud Aveim, as we'll learn here in this Perek, Kibud Aveim refers even to parents which are Rishoyim. Perek Shishi. Kibud Aveim Mitzvah Saseh Gedolah. That goes together with Mitzvah Saseh Gedolah. V'chein Moira Aveim. Shoklam HaKosuv B'kvoide Ub'miroi. The Torah compared Kibud Aveim and Moira of Aveim to his covet and to his Moira. How do we see that? Because Kosuv Kabid is Avicha V'esimecha. So the Lashon is Kabid. The Kosuv Kabid is Hashem Mehincha. So we see when we speak about Hashem being Mechabed Hashem, the Lashon is Kabid is Hashem, and Al Derazeh, Kabid is Avich V'esimecha. The Torah uses the same Lashon for the covet of the Eibishter and the covet of Aveim. And Al Derazeh, B'av V'imei Kosuv, Ish Imei V'aviv Tiro, the Lashon is Tiro, the Kosuv is Hashem Alikecha Tira. So we see Kederech Shetziva Al Kvei Shmei Agodol Meiroi, Kach Tziva Al Kvei Dom Umeiro'om. So the Torah uses the same Lashon for covet and Meira of Aveim, which is the same Lashon for the covet and Meira of the Eibishter, which is showing the importance of the din of, that's why it's a mitzvah saseh gdela, shakla makasu, the importance of kibud aveim. Now, mekal aveimei beskila, and v'hamegadav beskila. So again, we see the comparison between two zinyanim, that the Torah was mechayev skila for someone that's megadav the Eibishter, and al derazeh, mekal aveimei is also beskila. Hine hishva eisen beinish. Hishva eisen beinish. So we see again that the Torah is comparing these two inyanim, which is showing how important the din of kibud aveim is, and al derazeh how important is meira aveim. Now higdim ave le'eim bekovid v'higdim eim la'av b'meira. B'negei kovid it says kovid is avicha v'esimecha. B'negei meira it says ish imei v'av tiro. Over there it says imei first. So that's lelamet sheshneim shavim bein lekovid bein lemeira. The fact that the Torah over here wrote the av before the aim, and over here the Torah writes the aim before the av, is telling us that b'am is they're both equal, and therefore over here the Torah writes one first, and here the other one, the Torah writes the other one first. Halacha Gimel, Ezehu Meira. This is a chiyuv of being Meira. Ish imei v'av tiro. What's Ezehu Meira of Ezehu covet? It goes into the gather of Meira. What goes into the gather of covet? Meira is lei emid bim kemei. If the father has, or the mother has a special place to stand, is lei emid bim kemei, and also v'lei yeshiv bim kemei. And v'lei seiser is dvarav. You don't contradict what he says. And as the person says something, so to say fakert, to argue with him and say it's fakert. And also v'lei machriya is dvarav. If the person's, one of your parents are arguing with someone else, and you're coming along, you're saying, yeah, you're right, or he's right. So in other words, the fact machriya is dvarav, a person's being the person that he's being machriya between his parents and someone else, even if he's machriya for his parents. But the pale is killer, like he's the authority which is being machriya who's right. And also v'liyikri le b'shmei, you shouldn't refer to your father with his name or your mother. Le b'chayav v'le b'meisei. Le emer abba mori. Now hoye shem aviv v'shem rabbi k'shem acherim. So it's mishana shmam. So not only you shouldn't refer to the father or to the mother by their name and call them by their name and refer to them by their name, but you should also, even if you have someone else, so when you call the other people, you should also be mishana shmam. Now that the Rambam says, this din, that you should be mishana the shame of others, when you're calling them as Yiroli, She'en Nizer B'kach, Ele B'Shem Shuhu Peli, She'en Akel Doshen Bey. Because it's not a regular name, so it's not a regular name. If you're going to say this name, which is not a regular name, which your father has, or your mother has, and you're going to call someone else with that name, so you're so to speak, mentioning your father's name. However, Hashem is Shekerim Bem Kolam, the regular names, Kein Avram, Yitzchak, V'Yakev, Mesha, V'Aaron, Keitz Bem, b'chol loshen b'chol zman, kerim b'macherim shelei b'fon v'ein b'kaklum. So in those over there, you could call them in any language, even if it's a different language. But lepel, since it's a regular name, and you could call other people with that regular name. You know, let's say you have someone that his father's name is Avram, and now he has a friend which is called Avram. So to call his friend Avram in front of the father, you shouldn't. Masha'inkin, to call his friend Avram not in front of the father, that's fine. Masha'inkin, if he has a father which is an irregular name, and now he has a friend which has this irregular name, not a regular name, so then to call his friend with that name would also be inappropriate. That would be inappropriate. So we learn the dinam of Meira. The Meira is le'emed b'mkeme, le'esh b'mkeme, le'seiser is dvarav, le'machriya is dvarav, and he shouldn't refer to him by his name, and he should refer to him as Abba Mari, and even someone else he shouldn't call by his name in front of him, and even not in front of him, if it's not a regular name, you also shouldn't call someone with that name if it's an irregular name and your father has the same name. That's B'negei Meira. B'negei this din of Leister is Dvarav, there's like a very big deal. From Lashon Rashi and Kedushin is mashma that even B'divrei Torah, that'll be even Machriya Dvarav, and Kolshkin Lister is Dvarav. And there's a big deal in Achreinim and Poskim that L'chura we find in Shas that you're allowed to be Seiser is Dvarav. We find in Shas that people argued that the Rambam himself in Hilchos Shchita brings the day of his father in Hilchos Shchita, and he says that he argues with his father. Abba Mori is Min HaOsrim, V'ani Min HaMatirim. So we see that you could argue. So there's different diyunim in this. Some say that the fun of you're not allowed to argue with him, in other words, you're not allowed to try to slug up to refute something that he says. But on the other hand, Shalei B'fanav, you say your opinion, you're allowed to say it. This kama v'kama diyunim b'negei this din of the Yister is dvarav b'negei divrei Torah. Then the Rambam continues b'negei ezuhu kovid. What's the chi of kovid? Meichel umashker, malbish umechasa, and this is all mishalav. You know, there's no chiyuv for the son. It's not a chiyuv. The chiyuv of the ben of kovid is a chiyuv which doesn't involve having to pay for it. However, if ein mom and lav, the father doesn't have money, and v'yesh leben, and the son has money, is keifanese v'zon of v'imei k'fi mashu yochel. Then he is mechuyev to be zon of v'imei k'fi mashu yochel. So some learn that mihilchus daka, mitzad hilchus daka, but pashtus advarim it means even more than hilchus daka. The question is, let's say there's a chiyuv tzedakah for the son, and there's something beyond the chiyuv tzedakah. In other words, if it would be another person mitzad hilchus daka, he wouldn't be mechuyev. But since it's his father, so even though when the father has money, he's not mechuyev to use his own money. But on the other hand, if the father doesn't have money and he has money, so even though mitzad hilchus daka there's not a chiyuv, but nevertheless mitzad hilchus kibud avayim, he's mechuyev if he's able and the father doesn't have. That's this din. Then umeitzi umachnes, he takes him in, he takes him out, umishamshei b'shar hadvarim shashamoshim mishamshim emisarav. So that's the chiyuv. There's a chiyuv of Michael Amashke. There's also a chiyuv to be mishamish the father. Ve'emed b'fonov kederach she'emed b'fnei rabbi. When the father comes in, you have to. There's the dinim of the father standing up in front of your father, just like there's a chiyuv of being oimed b'fnei rabbi, which Rambam discussed in Hilchos Talmud Torah. So that's the chiyuv. There's a chiyuv of meira, and there's a chiyuv of kovid, and the chiyuv of meira is of leyister dvarav, etc., of leyamed b'mkeme, and the chiyuv of kovid is machilu, mashkeu, and machnisi, umeitzei. And again, mitzad the chiyuv mominus, so normally the chiyuv is mishalav, the chiyuv is mishalav. Mashenkin, if the father doesn't have money and the son does have money, so you're supposed to be zon eisei kefi mashul yoch. Halacha dalet. V'ha'av shohi talmid b'nei, ein ha'av eimid b'fnei haben. So over here we have, on one hand, there's a chiyuv of lamid b'fnei rabbi. So there's l'chura, the Av is a Talmud in front of the Ben. He's the Talmud of the Ben. So the Ben is Rabbi. On the other hand, the Ben has a Chiyuv Lamed b'fnei Oviv. So we say, V'av shaya Talmud b'nei, ein ha'av eimid b'fnei Ben, because since he's the father, so even though the Ben is the Rav, the Av is ein eimid b'fnei Ben, aval Ben eimid b'fnei Oviv. So the fact that the Ben is the Rabbi of Oviv doesn't exempt him from the Chiyuv of Lamed b'fnei Oviv. Aval Ben eimid b'fnei Oviv, aval pi shu Talmidei. That's then the Rambam continues v'chayiv l'chabdei b'shar d'rochav. Because first of all, we speak about the chiyuv kibud of pashbi mishamishim, doing something for him. Now there's an union of chiyuv of kibud of causing him kavod v'chayiv l'chabdei b'shar d'rochav. Masoi Matone or Vasiyas Chafotzov, when the son is doing things of Masoi Matone, he's not next to his father. He's doing something of his own business. Mishas Masoi Matone Vasiyas Chafotzov. He also has to be Mechabed of Ketzat. Hanishma B'dvar Oviv L'mokim. So in other words, when a person is in a place where Lepeil, the fact that he's the father's son would cause him to be treated differently. So Leyemar Maharuni B'Shvulatzmi or Patruni B'Shvulatzmi. In other words, I have to go quickly. So please give it to me quicker. But rather El Maharuni B'Shvulabba, Patruni B'Shvulabba. If he knows, he could be for himself, they would also do it. And Lepel for his father, they would also do it. So instead of saying it, do it for me, for my covenant, or let's say he's a chashva person, he should say, no, do it for my father's covenant. What you want to do for you, what favor I'm asking for you, do it in honor of my father. Maharuni b'shvil abba, or patruni b'shvil abba. V'chein kol kietz v'zeleilam yichlal b'chal dvorav, shu cheshish b'kveidau aviv, v'shekshu v'shehu misyarim imenu. In other words, there's a chiv of covet where you're with your father and you have to do things for your father. There's things of Meira, which things not to do something which is disrespectful. And then there's another Indian that even if a person is not next to his father, and Lepel, he could do something which gives the honor of his father or show his Meira of his father, his respect for his father, so that's what he's supposed to do. Halacha hei, v'chayev lechabde afilu lacher meisek, kesed, how you mechabde b'acher meisek. So obviously you can't have the covet which he said before, which is the mishamshe, but the covet which he's speaking about now, v'chayev lechabde, that chiv lechabde, which you mechabed him b'shas maso, things of that nature, so that you can have also l'acher meisek. Chayev lechabde afilu lacher meisek, kesed. Hoya emer shmua mipivi. We're saying over something in the name of his father. Liyemer kach omar abba. L'omer kach abba mori, which also is a lashon of respect. Abba mori, my teacher, my vegweiser, and ani kaparas mishkavi. He also adds ani kaparas mishkavi, which means that if there's any oynish that he is supposed to get, it should be given to me. Now, when do you say ani kaparas mishkavi? So in the klal is that mishpat rishoyim begehenim is yud beis chedesh. After yud beis chedesh, even rishoyim are not begehenim. So mele, what if a person is going to say about his father after yud beis chedesh, ani kaparas mishkavi, it sounds like that he's assuming that the father still needs a kapara even after yud beis chedesh. So we say no, but medvar mamurim that you say ani kaparas mishkavi, that's only b'tech shnei masar chedesh ulachar misase. Avol achar shnei masar chedesh is eimer zechreinei lechaya elam haba. That's how you respect the father, by saying zechreinei lechaya elam haba. Now the ma'ase is that lepeil is a diun because the minhag is you don't say kaddish, you say kaddish also for the kapara of for something that the father may need a kapara. That's past the meaning of kaddish. Now the kaddish we say only yudal of chadoshim, and the reason is because mishpat rishoyim begehenim is yud beis chedesh, and you don't want to say that the person you're saying kaddish for needs yud beis chadoshim, so therefore you only say it for 11 chadoshim. So on that, the achreinim adam, the l'chur over here also, how could you say areini kaparas mishkavi after 11 months before the 12th month? It's saying for 12 months you can say areini kaparas mishkavi. L'chur, just like you don't say kaddish after 11 months, so the svara would say that you don't say areini kaparas mishkavi after 11 months. So that is a din, because lepil you have to say something. You cannot say anything. On the other hand, to say l'chaya elam haba, saying no, you don't know if it's l'chaya elam haba because it's still before 12 months. So mele, that's why you say areini kaparas mishkavi. Others say that it's more bitzina. Person says areini kaparas mishkavi. It's not so clear. But I'll quote upon the rest of the Rambam says clearly that you say areini kaparas mishkavi for 12 months, even though lepil kaddish, the meaning is you say kaddish only for 11 months. Halacha vav. Echad ish ve'echad isha chayavim b'meira v'kovet. This chiyuv of meira v'kovet is lav dafka on a son, it's also on a daughter. Elisha ish, normally a son is biyad ilasis, because he doesn't have anyone's rishus over him. However, v'isha ain't biyad ilasis, sharei rishus acherim Allah. Since she's married, so her husband's rishus is over her, so therefore, generally speaking, she's not in the position to be able to do those things that her father needs or her mother needs. Lefichach im nisgashe in salmano. If she's taka b'rishus atzma and she doesn't have rishus acherim Allah, so then it's taka rishneim shavin, and they're both equal, the son and the daughter. Ad heichon kibud aveim, afilu notlu kis shel zuhuvim shaloi. Pas lashon Ram, kis shel zuhuvim shaloi means a kis shel zuhuvim that belongs to the son. V'hishlichu lefonav liyam, and this parent, father or mother, went and took this kishel zehuvim and threw it into the yam. Is liyachle meisam, he shouldn't embarrass them. And v'leyitzak b'fneim, and v'leyiches kinegdem. El yikabel gzeiras hakosav v'yishtek. And since the Torah says kabel is avicha v'simecha, so the parent did this type of an act. He took his kishel zehuvim and he threw it into the yam, so you shouldn't scream at them, you shouldn't embarrass them, and yikabel gzeiras hakosav v'yishtek. So that the Rambam says b'negea chiyuv kovet. Let's finish the halacha. V'adeichon meiron. And what's the gather of the chiyuv meira? Afilo levish b'godim chamudis. He was sitting with wearing nice clothes. V'yeshiv b'reish hakol. And then u'bo'ov v'yimei v'koru b'godav. Ehiku al reishe v'yorku b'fonav. They spat in his face. Is nevertheless le yachlam. Say he shouldn't embarrass his parents. Eliyishtek and v'yira v'yivchad mimelech hamlochim shetzivo b'kaf. So at that point in time, he should be afraid of the Eibishter, which was mitzvah him not to speak disrespectfully to his father. She'ilu melech basav adam gozer al dover shumitztayir yesim izeh. If a melech basav adam would tell him to do something which would cause him even more pain, is le'yochel lefarkes b'dav. He wouldn't be able to farkes means when the behemoth dies, his pirkus, in other words, the behemoth like shakes. Over here, even to shake for it, in other words, to make it kilo like it's a problem to do it. A person would do it without creating any sign that there's a problem to do it. So B'kitzur, the Rambam is saying that the chiyuv of kovid is in the case where he took a kishel zehuvim and he threw it bayam, and a kishel zehuvim of the son. And Benegeh, the chiyuv of meira that Rambam is speaking about is standing with God Mechamudas v'yeshem b'reish b'fnei hakol. It's not so clear. I mean, the pashtus halashon Gemara, but the ma'ase is it's not clear why is the first thing when he took the kishel zehuvim and he threw it bayam and he doesn't say anything. That's called kovet. Masha'inkin, when he's sitting there, he's yesh b'reish hakol and he caught God Mechamudas, that goes into a gather of meira. Why is this more kovet than meira? That's really one shaila. Then there's another shaila that passes Lashon Gemara. The Gemara is discussing whether kibbutz is mishal ben or mishalav. So the Gemara assumed over there that the kiss was talking about of the son, and on that the Gemara said that l'chur tzaraya that it's mishal ben, that the chiyuv covered mishal ben. The father is taking a kiss shel zehuvim shalei, and on that the Gemara passes answers that we're talking about that the kiss is the father's. It says if the kiss is the father's, so what does the son have to do anything? The son is worried about Yerusha. So in other words, so if it would be a kiss of the son, so then there wouldn't be a chiyuv to let the father do it. And over here it sounds like that it's talking about a kiss of the son. That's also a dion. There's two dionim over here. One dion is what is the difference between the first case and the second case? Why is the first case called kovid, and why is the second case called meira? That's dion number one. And then there's another dion, b'negea, why over here by the kovid we're saying let's a kiss zehuvim shalei. I says dachrenim in kedushin they answer there's so much he's having a psano from throwing this kiss into the yam, and Memela goes into a gather of kovid. It's a little bit hard to understand. Achreinim over here, like the Mishnah wants to say that over here the chiyuv of kovid was talking about after he threw it. In other words, he already threw it into the yam. So in other words, to prevent him from throwing it into the yam, he's allowed to, because since the kovid is mishal av, not mishal ben, so the ben is not mechuyev to let his father take a kiss shel zehuvim and throw it into the yam. Once he threw it into the yam, so then he's not allowed to. But again, once he do it, if it's talking about he already did it, so why is it called kovet? I mean, if it's talking about he didn't do it, so then there's a svarim. That's what Yosef says in Kedushin, that the pshat is he didn't do it. He's having anoah from throwing a kiss shel into the yam, so you're supposed to let him do it because of his anoah. Very hard to understand that that's a gather of kovet, and also then it will become out as mishal ben. Masha'inkin, according to the Kesef Mishnah, the Lach Mishnah is talking about Tzarei Lachra Ma'aser, he already did it, and now the question is if Yachli Meyu, so L'chura, how is that covered? L'chura, that's not covered, that's made it. Some don't really understand. But I'll quote on the rest of the Rambam says, this is Bamish Lashon HaGemara, that covered means when he took the kiss shel zehuvim and he threw it to the yam, so he doesn't say anything, and he doesn't do anything, he's Le'yachli Meyu. And Meir is talking about that he was sitting with Ish Chamudis L'fnei Ha'am, and he came and he tore his clothes, and he was Yarek B'fanav. So again, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't even show that that is bothering him, or that he wants to say something. Halacha ches. Afal pisha bekachnes tavinu. So lepel there's a chiyuv for the ben to let his father do either in other words, not to react in a way disrespectful to a father that does this and this. However, and that's not only this, but there's a chiv of kovid, and there's a chiv of machile, and mashkeyu, and machnisei, and mitziyeh, so that could be a difficult act to do. So now he says, there's the chiv of kibud avein, but on the other hand, osur la'odam lahachbid ule al bonov, uledaktik bekvei de imoim, shel yavim de michshel. A parent shouldn't be machbid his oil on his children. Memela, that causes children not to really be mekayim the mitzvah of kibud avein properly. Eliyimchel v'yisalim sha'av shemachal al kvei de machal. The father and the mother should be meichel, because the din is av shemachal al kvei de machal. And therefore, there's nothing isser. If he was meichel, there's no isser. So in Mela, so therefore, it's preferable that the father should be meichel in order not to bring the son lidei mirshel. Now, v'hamaka b'nei gadol, someone that hits his older son, so the din is menadnei, so he's put into cherem. Sharei oiver al vilfnei ivel, is it mirshel. In other words, b'chlal, you should make it easy. And if it's talking about makkah b'nei agadol, so that goes already into the gadol. Vilfnei ivel, is it mirshel. Halacha yud. So he's in a matzah that really it's very difficult to deal with them. Is yishtadel linig imoim kvidaitom achi yirucham aleim. So a person should try, even though his parents is nitr for daitom, but nevertheless he should try to help them until the Eibus still have rachmanis and make them in a better. They should be healthy again, healthy, mentally healthy. He can't be with them. Because it's something that's very, very difficult for him. It's impossible for him to really be able to deal with them. So yanichem v'yelachle and v'yitzav v'acherim lanhigam kuroilam. So he should go ahead and he can't be with them. Whereas to speak to them disrespectfully, he's not allowed to. But on the other hand, to be able to deal with them in a respectful way, he's not really capable of it. So therefore, as yanichem, he should tell other people to take care of them. The Ravid asks, at a practical level, if he's leaving and he's not. And he can't do it, so how could he be mitzvah someone else to do it? Who's going to do it? If he's not going to do it, how would you get someone else to do it? The Rambam doesn't discuss how he's going to get someone else to do it. Maybe if he could pay for it. In other words, he doesn't do it himself, but he goes away and he tries to pay for it. If he's able to pay for it, that someone else should be able to help his parents. Halacha Yudalef. Hamamzer chayu b'kveid oviv miroi. Afal pi shu potter al makosei val kilulosi ashiasa tshuva. In other words, a mamzer that was neilad through an isser erva. So the parents obviously did a aveira. So the question is, if they didn't do tshuva, so there's no. If a person is makkah his parents, the mom's is makkah his parents, they didn't do tshuva, so there's no chiyuv for makkah and for mikal. If they did tshuva, even though he's a mamzer, so there is a chiyuv. Mashenkin, if they didn't do tshuva, so then there's no chiyuv. But on the other hand, even if they didn't do tshuva, there's still a chiyuv of kibud aveim. That's what I'm saying, that the chiyuv of kibud aveim is even for parents that are rishoyim. Again, a mamzer chayav b'kveid aviv miroi aval pishu potter al makosev al kilulasi at shasur tshuva. But over here, even before asur tshuva, he's chayav b'kovet. Shafilo ha'yav rasha u'balaveris. So then is mechabde u'misyori mimenu. Now ra oisei oiver al divrei Torah. A child sees his parent being over al divrei Torah. The parent's a Rosh and he has a chiyuv kavod and meira. Is leyemerli abba avart al divrei Torah, because that's again that would go into that would be the opposite of meira. If a person's leyister is dvarav and a person's ein machriya is dvarav, so certainly he's not going to go and tell him avart al divrei Torah. Leyemerli abba kosev b'Torah kach v'kach ilu hushel bimanu leib kimazhire. Halacha yud beis. Misha amr le'aviv laver al divrei Torah. Father tells him to be over al divrei Torah. Ben she'amalei laver al mitzvos leisaseh elevat lasei afilu shel divreim is areza leishmalei. So there's no chiyuv to listen to a parent if he's telling you laver al divrei Torah. Shnama ish imi v'aviv tiro v'shapseisi tishmeru. So maybe we learn out kulchem chayav b'kvedi. Knows ish imi v'aviv tiro. But on the other hand, shapseisi tishmeru. If we're talking about a chiyuv Shabbos, something which is negate to the Eibishter, is kulchem chayav b'kvedi, and that overrides the chiyuv of kibud avein. Halacha yud gibel. Amalei aviv hashkeni mayim. U'mitzvah lasis, and there's a mitzvah to be done. Is im avshel a mitzvah shetiyasa eidei acherim, is tiyasa v'yisase b'kved aviv. However, she'ein mevatlin mitzvah b'fnei mitzvah. She'ein mevatlin mitzvah b'fnei mitzvah knows if there's a possibility to be able to be, that the mitzvah should be asuyel b'dei acherim. And lepel, you'll also be mekayim kavod aviv, so you shouldn't be mevatel the mitzvah of kavod aviv to do that mitzvah. Since that mitzvah is efshe shetiyos ha'idei acherim, you're not mevatel, you ain't mevatel mitzvah, the mitzvah of kavod aviv, in order to do another mitzvah, if that mitzvah is efshe shetiyos ha'idei acherim. However, if ein shem acherim la'seis, if that mitzvah is ein yochel la'seis ha'idei acherim, so then it is asik b'mitzvah v'yoniach b'kvei aviv. Shehu v'aviv chayav midvar mitzvah. So the Maisa is the Mefarshim explained that we're talking, it's a deal over there in Pshat and Gemara, but the questions are saying, L'churi, he has a mitzvah of kibbud. He has another mitzvah of whatever the mitzvah is. So L'churi, why are we saying that this mitzvah is more important than the mitzvah of kibbud? Kibbud is also a mitzvah. So we're talking about in a case where this is a mitzvah which is also on the father, the mitzvah of Kfuras Hames. So Lepel, there's a Chiv mitzvah, and that mitzvah is not only on the son, it's a mitzvah on the father. Now the father is telling the son to go ahead and yashkeni mayim rather than doing this mitzvah. So that mitzvah is actually say they acherim, so he should let someone else do that other mitzvah, and he should go ahead and be mechabed aviv. Masha'enkin, if that mitzvah cannot be done ayidei acherim, so he and his father have a chiyuv of that mitzvah, and therefore since kavod amokim comes before kavod aviv, so therefore he should go ahead and do that mitzvah. He should go ahead and do that mitzvah. That's v'mein sham acherim la'seisi yisasik b'mitzvah. V'yaniach kveid aviv, shehu v'aviv chayav midvar mitzvah. V'talmud Torah godel mikveid aveim. So if a person wants to go learn Torah, and the father wants him to go ahead and be mechabed, so that's this thing. So meilim is talking b'shas ma'isa, so there's a chiyuv, the father asks him to do something, so he has to do something. Masha'enkin b'chlolus, a person goes ahead and learns Torah, and lepel, as a result of that, he can be mechabed aviv v'imei, so that din of Talmud Torah is godel mikveid aveim. The Rebbe said many times that this din of Talmud Torah covered Godel Mikveid Aveim, which is brought down in Shulchan Aruch, that's brought down in Shulchan Aruch in Hilchis Kibud Aveim. And all that is over here, it's brought down in Rambam in Hilchis Mamrim. So in other words, it's not Pshat. The Pashto of the Pshat is this Mila in Torah, and Mila in Torah overrides Kibud Aveim. But since it says here in Hilchis Mamrim, the Rebbe was Medayik, or the Rebbe was Medayik from Shulchan Aruch, that it says in Hilchis Kibud Aveim, that's the Kibud Aveim. It's not the Pshat is Be'emes, there's in your Kibud Aveim. And the Torah overrides the Kibud Aveim, merely you're being Mavater on Kibud Aveim. The Emes of Kibud Aveim is that the Torah, that the child learns Torah, even though Lepel is not doing those things that Kibud Aveim would maybe dictate he should do, but Lepel, the learning Torah that he does, that's the biggest covet for the Aveim. Halacha Yudalet. Omer Oviv Hashkeni Mayim, and V'omer Le'imei Hashkeni Mayim. So the din is meniach kveid imei ve'esik b'kveid aviv tchila. Mipnei shehu ve'imei chayav b'kveid aviv. That's obviously talking about when imei is married to the father. The imei is married to the father, so maybe she has a chiyuv of kibud of the baila, and he has a chiyuv of kibud of both. So since hu ve'hi are chayav b'kveid aviv, so therefore he goes to the father first. Masha'enkin, if the mother and the father aren't married, so then that din wouldn't apply. Halacha tezvav. Chayiv Adam lechabed es eishes aviv, afal pisheine imei. But that chayiv is only kol zman she'aviv kayim shezeh bechlal kavod aviv. The kavod of the father is to be mechabed his wife, even though she's not your mother. V'chein mechabed baal imei kol zman she'imei kayemes. To mechabed your mother's husband, as long as while the mother is alive. Aval achar misosam eni chayiv. That's the number one. But then the Ram finishes off with Medivri Seifrim, She Adam Chayiv Bekveid Achiv HaGodel Ki Kveid Aviv. That a person should be mechabed his older brother.